Hello and welcome. My name is Bev Uhlenhake, and I'm the vice chair of the Maine Democratic Party. So it's funny, I was actually just at a press conference last week, Thursday, where I had to call out Paul LePage for lying about the benefits of his policies to small businesses. I never thought that I would be back at another press conference so soon, calling him out about his honesty and his integrity. So over the weekend, you may have seen this small New York Times article released about Paul LePage. According to the report, while he was serving as governor, according to the New York Times report, while he was serving as governor of the state of Maine, Paul LePage financially benefited from a tax break meant for residents of Florida. Let me repeat that. While he was governor of Maine, he was benefiting from a tax break that was only available to residents of Florida. In fact, he is still benefiting from this Florida tax break as he runs for an unprecedented third term up here in Maine. To make all of this worse, at the same time that LePage was taking advantage of this Florida tax break and saving money on his own property taxes, he was enacting policies that forced up the property taxes for Mainers, for all of you. His cuts to revenue sharing increased property taxes. His cuts to school funding increased property taxes. And do you know what the icing on the cake is? He actually tried to eliminate the Homestead Exemption Act here in Maine. That's the very tax break that he was taking advantage of in Florida. He tried to cut out and eliminate for people age 65 and under here in the state of Maine. These revelations were absolutely a slap in the face to all Mainers. They showed just how little respect Paul LePage has for Maine and for all of you. It's clear that LePage believes that there's one set of rules for Maine people and a completely set of rules for himself. As we speak, LePage is running for governor and is trying to paint himself as the guy who can lower costs. And the report makes clear that he actually believes that, and he can lower costs, but only for himself. While he was cashing in on a tax break down south, he was also ratcheting up property taxes here in the state of Maine. There's no reason to think he wouldn't do it again. The hypocrisy is absolutely appalling. So today I'm joined by two representatives who serve on the legislature's Joint Standing Committee on Taxation. They are just as outraged as I am about this report, and they can also talk in more detail about how disastrous LePage's tax policies were for Maine families. First, we're going to hear from Representative Maureen Terry. Welcome, Maureen.
Hi, everyone. So I'll take as many questions as you want to throw out there, but I just want to say that I'm really very uncomfortable with the fact that the former governor is okay with taking advantage of programs that do not belong to him, at the same time asking for Maine to make cuts. It appears to me that he is either unfamiliar with how the tax programs work, or he's intentionally taking advantage of things that he shouldn't be taking advantage of. To ask the state of Maine to make cuts where he clearly either doesn't understand or is willing to make let's see, his own rules up as he goes along is very hurtful to me in particular, because because of the work that we've tried to accomplish on the taxation committee, trying to keep the cost of property taxes down for permanent residents of the state of Maine is incredibly important. But it's also really important that our municipalities have the money that they need to do the jobs that they do. Our current governor has been excellent in helping our municipalities get to the dollar amount that they need to run their towns. and to have somebody that's running for office be willing to cut that even for another state just really very much concerns me. So I'll hand the mic over to my colleague Ann Matlack, who is also on the taxation committee and who also serves as the chair of the state and local sorry, thank you, state and local government committee as well. So she'll be able to really tell you, how important it is to work so that both of those committees work together so that taxes help to pay for municipalities. Thanks.
Good afternoon. My name is Ann Matlack, and I serve on the taxation committee with Representative Terry. But when I first came into the legislature, we expended great efforts trying to repair the safety net that Governor LePage has torn apart. He had cut revenue sharing to municipalities. That meant that the tax dollars that were intended for the towns to use for their fire departments, for their public libraries, for their EMTs was reduced greatly. He never made an effort to approach the 55% in educational funding that the people of the state of Maine have been demanding for years. During his time in office, 5 out of the 8 years, the statewide property tax rate increased. That meant that the local property taxpayers were on the hook for the dollars needed to keep their programs and services or to cut their programs and services. And yet he benefited down in Florida from a tax break that he was trying to deny the people of the state of Maine. Governor Mills has delivered bipartisan property tax relief. She has expanded the homestead exemption. She has fully funded education, and she has restored revenue sharing to towns to support fire, police, and other important local services. These are all of benefit to the local property taxpayer because their property taxes are now offset by more revenue from the state, which means it's a less impact on the local taxpayer. 4 years ago, former Governor LePage said he was done with politics and taking up residence in Florida. This November, let's send him back to Florida permanently where he can claim that homestead exemption he likes so much. The people of Maine are better off without him. And as with Representative Terry, I'd be happy to take questions.
Great. With that, I'll